Hello, third grade, and welcome to reading for today. We're going to continue looking at text structures. Now, we have already looked at two text structures. We looked at chronological, which in sequence, which tells us a story in order. Maybe they have words like first, next, and last, before, after. Maybe they start in years or dates, and they are talking in order. We also looked at problem and solution. Problem and solution texts start with a problem and describes how it can be solved. Some key words you might see are problem, solution, resolution, or dilemma. We also talked about one of our vocab words, which would be resolve. Today we're going to look at cause and effect, this text structure of cause and effect. As we are going through the lesson, please make sure that you are on Class Kick and filling out the information with me, highlighting everything I highlight and typing everything I type. Let's go ahead and begin. This type of text structure is called cause and effect. Go ahead and type out cause and effect. So something happens and then something happens in result. The purpose of this type of text, the reason authors use this text structure, is to tell what happened and why it happened. Now we're going to go back and fill out our chart. If you have not already, add 3 clue words that helps you know if a text structure is in chronological order. Remember, that is in order in which events occur, steps in a process. Then I want you to add 3 words that help you identify a problem and solution paragraph or passage. And for our cause and effect, again, the purpose of writing a cause and effect text structure is that it tells what happened and why it happened. If you need to pause the video to type this out, you may pause it now. And some clue words we can look for in a text would be because, if, and then later on in the story, it says then. Keyword like when this happened, then that happened. Consequently. And finally, as a result. If you need to pause the video to type this out, you may. And let's continue on with the story. As we're going through, I'm going to be looking for some of those keywords. If, then, what is the problem? How are they, what is the cause and what is happening? There are far fewer giant pandas living in the wild today than there were thousands of years ago. The main reason for their decrease in number is habitat loss. Habitat loss occurs when human activity destroys the land where an animal makes its home. Pandas used to live throughout most of eastern and southern China and into neighboring countries. Then humans began to take over the land that was home to the panda's entire forest to make room for farms, industries, housing, and roads. I see my first clue word, as a result. Highlight as a result. Pandas lost their homes and their food source. Over the years, human populations expanded into the panda's natural habitat. Consequently, that's another clue word, pandas had less and less forest land on which to live. Pandas no longer had one large continuous habitat. Instead, that can also be a clue word for cause and effect. Their habitat was divided into smaller sections with human development in between them. Today, the panda's natural habitat has been reduced to 6 isolated mountain ranges in China. Due to human population, this can also be a clue word, due to human population grabbing up their wild lands for human use, the available habitat for pandas is just 1% of its former size. Let's type out some of those clue words that we found. As a result, consequently, instead. Go ahead and take some time to write those out. Now, we are going to figure out if this is a cause and effect. You can ask yourself, is the author trying to show what caused something to happen, or the effects of something? Go ahead and type that out. And then we're going to go to the next page and fill in some causes and effects. We'll be highlighting our first one in blue. So grab your blue highlighter. We'll do the light blue for the cause and dark blue for effect. So let's look at this first paragraph. So there are far fewer giants living in the wild today than there were thousands of years ago. The main reason for the decrease in numbers is habitat loss. So this is actually our cause. Because there was habitat loss, what happened? Because there was habitat loss, what happened? Grab your dark blue. Because there was habitat loss, there are far fewer pandas, giant pandas, living in the wild today. So that's exactly what we're going to add in. Because there was habitat, remember habitat is where an animal lives, loss, comma, I did not spell that right. Because there is habitat loss, the effect is that there are fewer giant pandas. Notice how I used 2 parts of a sentence to answer my cause and effect. The first one was because, comma, and then the effect. Let's move on to the second one. We'll look at the cause and effect in paragraph 2. I want you to grab the light green for the cause and we will use dark green for the effect. In paragraph 2, we are looking for a cause. So we already actually know the result because it has our keyword right here, as a result, our clue word. So pandas lost their homes and their food source. Why? That's how I can find my cause. Why did pandas lose their homes and their food source? I'll have to go back to find out. They cleared entire forests to make room for farms, industries, houses, and roads. So because they cleared, that means that they bulldozed them down, cleared entire forests, pandas lost their homes and their food source. We'll type that out in the second part. So because forests, I'll have to go back and look at the exact wording. They cleared entire forests. The result was that pandas lost their homes and their food source. Take some time to type this out. Make sure that you are caught up. Pause the video if you need to. Moving on to our last cause and effect. Grab the light pink for our cause and the dark pink for effect. In our last paragraph, we see two clue words in there that we can look around to find a cause and an effect. So it looks like their habitat was divided into smaller sections with human development. Today, the panda's natural habitat has been reduced to 6 isolated mountains. Grab your light pink. So because their habitat was divided into smaller sections, panda's natural habitat has been reduced to 6 isolated mountain ranges. Highlight both of those, and we'll type it out. So because their habitat was reduced, comma, they only live in 6 isolated mountain ranges. Pause the video if you need more time writing. And then at the bottom, I want you to add what the author's main purpose for this writing was. Why did they write this writing? Did they write it to inform? To entertain? Or was it their opinion? After you have finished answering all of these questions, you may continue on your reading assignments for today.